This is Eric from Pack Hacker, and today we're taking a look at the EVERGOODS Civic Access Pouch half liter, which I've been testing for the past 2 weeks. Let's dive in. So the primary material that we're working with on the exterior here is 420D high tenacity nylon. So we're usually seeing very durable materials from EVERGOODS, but this is actually a bit higher of a denier than what we're used to seeing from their other tech pouches. So a little bit of extra protection here, and I kind of like that. It doesn't really affect usage in any way. Maybe it makes it a little bit heavier, but I do like this material. It also has a PU coating, so it's going to keep water at bay as well. So overall, pretty happy with the exterior. I think it looks pretty sleek as well, and it's going to also match any of the EVERGOODS gear that you already own. So if you already have a Cap 1, Cap 2, or any of their backpacks, this is obviously going to match pretty well. So we have a logo here on the bottom. It's actually not really a logo at all. If you're familiar with EVERGOODS, typically they have like a hook and loop fastener as a logo with a little line through it, which is their logo. But on this, I just think it was probably too small, so they just opted for this little rectangle. And I think it actually adds something, but I don't know, it's not really good or bad in my personal opinion. It's just kind of there, but it does add a little bit of depth to the front if you consider this to be the front. But we have YKK zippers, so on the outside and on the inside, very easy to open and close, no problems there. We have a little loop here on the end, which you can use obviously if you wanted to carry it like this, if you want to attach it to something, or if when you are closing it, you have too much stuff in there, you can kind of hang on to this and yank that over. So this isn't too packed out right now. It's got a fair amount of stuff inside, but it's nice to be able to have that. It's worth mentioning that that really is the only way to hold it other than just grabbing it like this. So if you wanted a handle or something, you're not getting that here. One more thing to mention is about the exterior is that this is very well padded. I don't know how well you can really see it, but there's quite a bit of padding and it's on all 4 sides. So you've got protection from bumps, knocks, if you were to drop it or something like that. It's pretty well protected, and I dig that. Typically, you do see some padding on tech pouches because you want to protect your tech, but this is kind of all-encompassing all around. Sometimes there is a Achilles heel, and I really don't see that here. So it is a rectangle, so you can set it on any of the, if I get that zipper pull out of the way, any of the 4 sides that you want to, and that's not really, I don't know if it's like super important, but it is kind of pleasing to if you just kind of set it down, it's going to sit on one of the sides and you're not going to have a problem with that. But as you can also see, it's very small. So it's kind of like sunglass case shaped. So it's not very big. And as you can see, when we get into the main compartment, you can't fit a ton of gear inside of here, but it does work pretty well with the Cap 1 and the Cap 2. So if you have one of those and you just want a little bit more space, or maybe something you can just carry to the coffee shop, this is a solid solution for that. So if you are finding this video helpful so far, make sure you throw a like on this video and subscribe to the channel so we can continue making content like this to help you travel smarter. But now it's time to go to the inside, and as I mentioned earlier, we do have like a rectangular prism here, and because this zipper kind of goes all the way from one end to the other, it folds out like this and kind of sits, and doesn't kind of sit flat, it sits flat like this, and they did that on purpose. So that way it kind of becomes a desk caddy. So you have a very easy to carry and move around pouch, or slide it into your day pack or your travel backpack, but you can set it down like this when you get to the coffee shop, or if you're working in your hotel room or something like that. Or you can also use this as like a toiletry pouch in a pinch, and you could set this in the bathroom on the counter, and you have access to all your stuff. So no matter where you are, you have access to your stuff, and that's a really awesome design if you ask me. I will say that if you have lighter stuff inside of here, it doesn't want like, naturally, it's kind of like after you unzip it, it kind of doesn't open all the way. The heavier the gear, obviously, the more it's going to push down. So I have tech in here right now, so it's doing a pretty good job of that. But if you are using it for toiletries, or maybe as like a first aid kit or something like that, it might not sit perfectly flat. It's still going to do it, and if you kind of push down on it like this, it's going to kind of get the picture and do what you want it to do. So that's just something I noticed in testing. Not a problem with the materials or anything like that. I love the durable materials. Just if you do purchase this, you might need to kind of just give it a little oomph to make it sit properly if it's not super heavy. But as you can see, we have some organization inside of here. I'm going to take out my cables from the middle area. So I've got 3 cables inside of here and 2 wall chargers. So just set those to the side so we can get a better look at what's going on the inside here. As you can see, quite a bit of space to work with. It really, like, it's tiny, obviously, a half liter, but it can be used for a lot of different things, and I've mentioned quite a few of them already. But you could also use it as like a sunglasses case, or just kind of an EDC pouch that has your daily essentials that aren't your phone and your wallet. Your wallet might fit in here if you have a smaller wallet, like my chums would probably sneak inside of here. But just kind of a really do-it-all pouch, and that's one of the reasons I really like EVERGOODS products in general, is because they don't really bog you down with organization that limits what you can do with it. You can do whatever you want with this thing. as long as it fits in the ½ liter. As you can see, we have 2 pockets here. Got a little too close there. This one here is the liner material, and then we have the mesh on this side. So I like that one is mesh, one is liner, because you can see inside the mesh one. And these are 2 things I like to have with me. I've been testing this towel from Rolling Square. It's nice to know that I have this with me, so I know I can test it properly. And it's also just nice to have a little bit of extra battery bank when you need it. And then my pair of corded headphones, because I like to have these just in case. I have over-ear headphones that I typically use, but if I'm taking a phone call or I'm just going for like a quick walk or something like that, sometimes I go to like the park after work, and it's nice to have my headphones in. I can listen to a podcast, listen to music or something like that. And I have these with me at all times. So I like knowing I have those with me, and because of this mesh, you can see that I have those and make sure before I go to work or wherever I'm going that I have those. Again, YKK zippers, get you nice and close there so you can see. No issues with those, opening and closing them. Just very, very good brand in my opinion. On this side, I have just some pens stowed inside of here. So I like that there is a liner pocket, because that gives you a little bit of protection for things inside of here. So if you were going to use this as like kind of like a makeshift tech pouch, or not tech pouch, toiletry pouch for a weekend trip, you could throw like your toothpaste in there or something like that. So it is closed. It's not going to like seep through. Obviously it could, if it left for long enough, the right liquid could seep through there. But it's just nice to have that option. And also, like, I obviously just had pens, but if you have pencils or maybe some art supplies or something like that, and you stow those in there, they're not going to leak through like they would on this mesh side over here. So we have a gusset on either end to make sure that this doesn't kind of open too far, and it doesn't really ever get too tight, at least for me personally, but we have it on both sides here. I'm just going to kind of flip this inside out so you can see the organization a little bit better. As you can kind of see that padding and that structure more now because I did that. It's gonna just a fair, like not a huge amount of padding, but enough padding to where your gear is going to feel safe. And this is the flat bottom that it is sitting on, obviously the other side when you open it up. So overall, very happy with the organization offered by this thing. It just comes down to whether or not you need an additional ½ liter, or if you can get by with just using a ½ liter for your tech pouch or whatever it is you need this thing to solve for you, whether it be tech pouch, toiletry pouch, or just EDC gear going inside of here. But as I said, overall, very happy with the build quality, the organization that's not limiting, but is helpful on the inside. It just comes down to whether you can get used to that size. So there you have it, the EVERGOODS Civic Access Pouch ½ liter. Thanks for keeping it here at Pack Hacker, your guide to smarter travel. We'll see you in the next one.